Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Chicago Bears versus Green Bay Packers Week 4 matchup based on analytics. As you may or may not know, each week I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. We are 3 weeks into the season, so that's not the biggest sample size ever at this point. However, there will always be little nuggets of truth in every sample of data you see, which could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics, and if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So if you don't really know a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, or if some of the terms in the charts don't make any sense, you can just go to the description. So starting with this matchup between the Chicago Bears and Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, last week the Steelers kind of beat the odds a bit when it came to data. The big thing that was favoring them the most against the Steelers was special teams, and the fact that the Steelers had kind of a meh offense. The Bears' offense was better than the Steelers' offense based on data. It's just that the Steelers' defense played so well the first 2 weeks. Of course, didn't really do as well last week. And, of course, again, special teams is a big factor. In this particular game, the overall data, this is basically the basic stat comparison data. It looks at turnover ratios for both teams. It looks at offensive score percentage. How often do you score when you get when the offense has the ball? It looks at defense. Sacks on defense and offense, turnovers created on defense and offense, etc. And of course, special teams and all the other kind of data. So the overall data, when it comes to just basic stat comparisons, favors the Packers, but not by a lot. The Packers are dealing with a lot of problems. Firstly, they're having a lot of tackle problems. They actually signed Ulrich John off the Arizona Cardinals practice squad because of the tackle problems that they're having, because of injuries, because of just a whole bunch of things. And on top of that, you're dealing with an offensive line that has a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. So this isn't a gimme for the Packers by any stretch of the imagination. The Packers definitely played really well to begin the year, but they've been kind of flat for the rest of the year. And we're going to talk about some of the areas that I think the Bears have some advantages. So starting with some of the basics here, when it comes to the Bears' total D score and total O score. Again, total D score is basically how the Bears perform when it comes to creating first downs with the run, first downs with the pass. That's the total. That's the total O score, and then the total D score is the ability of the defense to prevent first downs against the run and the pass combined. When you look at it, the Bears coming into this game are favored in both those categories. Their offense creates a lot of points overall when it comes to, well, not really creating points, but just first downs. They're able to get a lot of first downs, create a lot of first downs in every single situation overall. Versus the Packers that have not been in that kind of situation. But again, the Bears this year, the only criticism I have of the Bears this year is that even though their offense has been creating a lot of first downs, they've been performing really well when it comes to creating first downs as offense. It hasn't really contributed to a lot of points. They've been very, it's not a very explosive offense. Except for a couple plays here and there, like Tariq Cohen and guys like that. But yeah, that's the only sort of major thing, major issue, I guess, is just that the offense of the Bears is definitely, controlling the clock and moving the ball, but they're just not putting a ton of points up, which is that's the main thing that hurts them, is the fact that they don't, even though they create a lot of first downs with their offense, they're not really turning those first downs into points. Which is kind of the biggest thing that hurts them. And then, of course, you look at the other sort of comparisons. The Packers have been doing better when it comes to the one thing I just said in terms of turning their drives into points. They do that a lot better. They may not get a lot of first downs consistently overall, but they are able to get points on the board overall compared to the Bears. On top of that, sack prevention is actually in favor of the Bears, and we'll talk a little bit more on that when we get to that other section in terms of zooming in on that section. But The Bears are a little bit better in terms of preventing sacks than the Packers. I think that'll be a crucial thing in this game because of all the tackle issues the Packers are having right now. On top of that, when you look at turnovers, it favors the Packers. The Bears have had more turnovers per drive compared to the Packers, although the Packers haven't exactly been amazing when it comes to that category either. When it comes to defensive side of the football, the Packers have been better when it comes to creating sacks versus the Bears. Special teams is a little bit even for the most part. When it comes to punt return yardage, the Bears and Packers are pretty even, with the Packers having a slight lead. When it comes to kick return yardage, the Bears actually have a pretty sizable difference, but it's not as bad as the Steelers last week. When it comes to defense, the Packers have one of the best defenses when it comes to preventing punt return yardage on average in the NFL at this point, whereas the Bears are better when it comes to preventing kick return yardage. Overall, when it comes to the special teams data, field goal percentage favors the Packers over the Bears in terms of field goals. Extra points also favors the Packers over the Bears. And then punting average actually favors the Bears. So the Bears have been better. Again, when it comes to the classic, control the clock, control the football, play field position kind of game, that's what the Bears have been doing. And, so far they got a big win against the Steelers, of course. So it has been working. It's just they haven't really been able to put up a ton of points in every single drive. So that's the only real criticism of the Bears at this point, is the fact that their offense, when you look at the basics for data stuff, the biggest criticism is just that their offense is just not putting up as many points per drive as it probably should compared to the rest of the NFL. And then when we get to some other sort of things, so when you look at completion percentage, so this is looking at the completion percentage data of the Bears versus the Packers defense in terms of the Bears offense ability to have good completions in these particular downs and distances versus the Packers defense's ability to prevent completion percentage in downs and distances. And honestly, the Bears are going to do pretty dang well in this game when it comes to their passing stats, because it's pretty even across the board when it comes to the Bears and Packers. The Packers have not been good when it comes to first down completion percentage, second down completion percentage, and they've been fairly good on third down completion percentage, but the Bears have been very good on third down completion percentage and second down completion percentage. So for the most part, this does heavily favor the Bears in many ways because of the sort of lackluster Packers passing defense, except when it comes to third down situations, when it comes to completion percentage. And then when you get to the Packers versus the Bears in terms of completion percentage, fairly even as well, with the Bears having a slight advantage when it comes to third down. The Packers this year in particular have not done well when it comes to second down and third down situations when it comes to completion percentage. So as much as, and again, I'm not trying to, again, a lot of this has to do with a lot of other issues that we're going to get to later on the show, but the Packers are by no means a stud coming into this game. They have a lot of sort of issues on this team because of injuries, because of a lot of different things that makes them very vulnerable in this matchup. When you look at the Packers, again, when you look at the Packers and Bears defense coming in, it's pretty much evenly matched in terms of what they can contribute, especially the Bears, because the Bears are very good when it comes to first down completion percentage, and the Packers are very good when it comes to that. So it's a pretty even matchup when you look at completions compared to both offenses versus defenses. And then when we get to rushing down, so this is the Bears rushing offense versus the Packers rushing defense. The Bears have an advantage here, significantly better when it comes to creating first downs with the run on first down. Pretty much evenly matched when it comes to second down situations, but third down situations, the Bears are better when it comes to that. So this is really good. This is really good because the Bears, again, the Bears' strengths this year has been their running game, has been controlling the clock, has been this kind of thing that I'm showing you right now. And if they go into this game and they control the clock and they run the football, old school football could win out in this game, especially with how the Packers have been playing. So this is actually a very good thing for the Bears going into this game, is that their ability to make first downs with the run is working. So guys like Jordan Howard and Terry Cohen, definitely big influences when it comes to these particular data points. And then when we look at the Packers versus Bears defense, when it comes to rushing downs, the Packers pretty evenly matched. The only advantage the Packers have is when it comes to third down situations. The Bears defense has been below average when it comes to preventing first downs against the run and third down situations so far through 3 weeks. But yeah, for the most part, pretty evenly matched actually, except for third down situations, which could be a crucial thing if the Packers actually lean on the run, which they probably, I mean, who knows in this matchup, because the Packers are definitely more of a pass kind of heavy kind of team. Then we look at passing situations. So this is the Bears passing offense versus the Green Bay Packers passing defense. Again, fairly evenly matched. The Bears are not very good when it comes to, it's actually kind of weird, but the Bears are not very efficient when it comes to creating first downs on first down, but neither are the Packers efficient in preventing first downs on first down. Same thing goes with second down, where it's pretty evenly matched. Third down slightly favors the Packers, and that is, again, going to be a very crucial situation, is if the Packers can put them into situations. Third and 10 is definitely an area where the Packers have an advantage. Even third and 1 to 4. I mean, just look at third and 1 to 4 when it comes to the Bears offense versus the Packers defense. So if the Packers can, force the Bears in these third down situations and force them to pass in these situations, basically the Packers would need to turn this game into a track meet, basically. If they can do that, then I think they'll have advantages. If they can't do that, if they can't win with old school football, because this is the big dichotomy here. If the Bears can turn this into an old school football type of football game where they run the football and they control the clock and they do all that kind of stuff, they definitely have an advantage in this game. If they don't do that, then I don't think that they can keep up. But again, the foundation work is here. The Bears are not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination when you look at it from a data perspective. And then when you look at the Packers offense versus the Bears defense, the Bears have some advantages when it comes to first down situations. The Bears have been pretty decent at preventing first downs on first down compared to the rest of the NFL, but not so much when it comes to second down situations where it's more evenly matched. And the Packers overwhelmingly have been really good when it comes to converting on third down with the pass. And I just want to add that sort of segment that when it comes to this particular matchup, that is another, again, that's another sort of thing to kind of worry about a little bit, is that even though the Packers, in terms of completion percentage on third down, is not the best, they have been able to convert really well in that situation. And it's a matter of if they keep it up. Which I think they possibly can. It is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is what he does. When it comes to money downs like this, he's going to win these situations. But again, if the Bears can play old school football sort of method, then I think they'll have lots of advantages in this game. But overwhelmingly, I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to do on third down. I mean, that's what he does. He's Aaron Rodgers. He's an elite quarterback. This is what elite quarterbacks do. So that's definitely going to be something that might be frustrating if the game turns into the Packers controlling the clock and doing things from that kind of perspective versus the Bears. Then when we look at something a little bit different, so this is the sack rate on various downs for both the Bears offense versus the Packers defense. And when you look at this, the only major sort of area, the only area where the Packers do really well as a defense is in terms of getting sacks on third down. That is the only sort of area where they're impressive. They don't really get sacks on first down that much. They don't really get sacks on second down that much, but they do get sacks on third down that much. So preventing sacks in those situations will be crucial. It will be very, very crucial to do that. But keep in mind that if you turn things into easy situations, so when you look at third and 1 to 4 kind of situations, as long as you're in third and short situations, I mean, this is the crucial thing. As long as the Bears stay out of third and long situations, I think that this won't be a factor in this game. But if they do end up in third and long situations, this will definitely be a factor, because the Packers just crush them when it comes to third and 4 to 6, third and 7 and 9, and third and 10 kind of situations. This is the Packers get sacks when it comes to these third and long situations overall. But if you can keep things tight, again, if you can keep things in the third and short situations, get first downs with the run in these short situations versus the pass as well. If you can do that, then I think you have a shot in this game to keep the chains moving and to keep playing the type of football that you're playing right now. So again, this is a very crucial matchup for the Bears because they cannot get in a third and long situations. It's just not going to work out if they do that. And then when we get to the Packers offense versus the Bears defense, another thing as well, the Bears defense does really well when it comes to getting sacks on third down. So if they can force, and the other sort of interesting thing about the Bears as well is 3rd and 1 to 4. You know, the Bears have been doing really well, even in those sort of short area, like 3rd and 1 to 4 kind of areas. They've been able to get sacks in those particular matchups. So, you know, that's another sort of interesting thing to kind of see how that kind of develops. But for the most part, it's pretty evenly matched. I think the Bears would definitely have a shot because of all the injuries. You know, for our offensive line to perform well, it has to have continuity, and that's the one thing the Packers are missing right now is continuity. You know, with injuries to the line on top of new players on the line, it's just not a good mix. So I would say this is another sort of matchup that the Bears, if the Bears can do, like if the Bears can perform like this, if the Bears can actually create sacks on 3rd and 1 to 4 against the Packers, that I think good things can happen in this matchup. On top of the fact that they do have advantages when it comes to 3rd and long situations, at least in certain situations. So I think this is another sort of aspect to consider. And also the fact that the Packers have not done well when it comes to preventing sacks in 3rd and 1 to 4 situations. So this is an area that you have to exploit when it comes to this particular matchup if you're the Bears. And then when we get to the interception ratio, so this is basically, you know, the higher the number on offense, the less interceptions you throw in these situations, the lower the number, you know, etc. And of course, the higher the number on the defense, the better they are at creating interceptions. For the most part, the Packers defense has not been very good when it comes to creating interceptions this year. Clinton-Dix has not really had a very big game or big impact or whatever you want to call it this year. And for the most part, the Bears have been below average when it comes to 1st and 3rd down situations. You know, turning the football over in those situations has been somewhat of an issue. But I think against the Packers defense, they just have been having trouble getting interceptions. So this is definitely a matchup to watch because as much as the Packers last year were turning the football over like crazy, you know, again, Clinton-Dix, a major contributor to that. And this year, not so much. So if the Bears play a very control the clock type of defense, don't turn the football over type of offensive strategy, the advantages are kind of in their favor to a certain extent because of this kind of situation that the Packers just have not been able to create turnovers against the pass. And then when we go to the flip side, so we look at the Packers offense versus the Bears defense. For the most part, both of these teams, well, this is, again, it's another sort of dichotomy. The Packers offense has surprisingly been giving up a lot of interceptions in terms of 1st down, 2nd down, and 3rd down, while the Bears defense has not been doing really well in terms of creating interceptions as well. So fairly evenly matched in these particular situations, to say the least. Will this be a factor in this game? I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, sure, they're probably, you know, turnovers are going to happen. I would say it'd be more likely in terms of fumbles and that kind of stuff in this particular game because both the Bears defense and the Packers defense have just not been creating interceptions that much. So I don't think there's any kind of special matchups to kind of look at in this game because of that kind of factor. So overall, you know, how do I feel about this game? Who do I think is going to win this game? I think that, you know, based on all the data, it says Packers, you know, but is there a chance the Bears can win this football game? Absolutely. I mean, again, if you just look at the particular matchups and how they're going to win this game is they have to run the football, they have to control the clock, they have to keep themselves in the 3rd and short situations, and if they do that, they have a shot. And on top of that, if they get sacks, because, you know, they have to get sacks in this game, and there's no excuses at this point. You know, there's so many injuries on the Packers offensive line in terms of their tackle situation that there's no excuses to not get sacks in this game. So again, for the Bears to win this football game, they have to do what they pretty much did, and you know, they have to do what they keep doing. Keep doing what they're doing, which is, you know, controlling the clock, playing the special teams battle, field position, you know, the classic old school football kind of tenets. The data always favors the new school approach because the new school approach usually wins more games. But again, the Packers are not really playing outstanding right now by any stretch of the imagination. On defense, they're not really creating a lot of turnovers. On offense, they're giving away a lot of turnovers. So again, I just have to give the Packers the win just because of that kind of factor, because they have been able to put up points. They have had their issues, but again, I think they'll find a way to win this game, but that does not count the Bears out in this game. So that's the basic way to kind of rule down on this is I think it's a Packers victory, but it could be a very ugly victory indeed, based on how the Bears can exploit the Packers in many different areas of the game. So again, of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.